Hello, hello, everybody. It's good to be back. It's been a while. Hope everyone's doing pretty good today. I'll go ahead and get situated here. Welcome to the new year. We're going to go ahead and get situated here and just clear the workspace. And if everybody can go ahead and start seated on their chairs at the very front, their feet out in front of them, heels underneath their knees shoulders apart. And hands on top of their knees here. We're just going to take a deep breath. Inhale. And exhale nice and slowly, sitting up nice and tall. Let your shoulders just kind of fall down and back. Imagine your back, when you breathe in, expands. Like your lungs are filling up with air and it stretches out your back. Very good here. Okay, so just again, for those of you who are new to the class, or might be joining for the first time, we go over a couple positions in here. The two most common positions being our hollow and our arch. Just for a quick demonstration, you can do this in your chair. Whenever we refer to our hollow position, I'm squeezing my glutes, posteriorly tilting my pelvis, and I'm squeezing the abdomen, which pulls my sternum down towards my pelvis, and it rounds out my back. And I'm basically decreasing the distance between my sternum and my pelvis, which is essentially what your abdominal muscles do, or your rectus abdominal muscles. So when we do our arch, we're going to do the exact opposite. Our pelvis is going to tilt forward anteriorly. Our back is going to more than straighten up. It's actually going to become a little convex here, or concave a little bit as our chest opens up. We should feel those lower back and erector muscles work. In this class, we're going to basically go and utilize those different positions here. We're going to try to achieve a nice balance in between the two. So while you're seated, you can do that. So let's start off with this one here. Let's go ahead and contract our glutes. Squeeze the abdomen. And breathe. Big thing in this class here is we're not holding our breath. And I'm never going to tell you to hold your breath. My whole rule is, unless you're underwater, you shouldn't hold your breath. So we're constantly staying contracted with these muscles, but we're letting the diaphragm muscle relax and contract. Now, while you're continuing to hold this position here, you might have a mild rounding of your back. What I want you to do is, with your arms straight, through your palms, you're going to push and apply as much pressure as needed. So as much as you need to, as hard as you need to, keeping the arms straight, palms of your hands on top of the knees, pushing down to the point where you're having to really work the abdominal muscles to keep the sternum from lifting up. But what should happen instead is, if you push down hard enough, is your shoulders will come back and down, and your back will straighten out, but it won't arch. Your sternum will be lifted, will be facing forward still, and it won't be facing down. So it might If you first start off with the hollow, like I said, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the abdomen, your sternum might be kind of facing towards the floor. You push those hands, and all of a sudden the sternum lifts just a little bit, but just to the point where it's facing forward. It's not lifting up. Continuing to breathe, holding these contractions. So this is now what ideally, from a seated position, a neutral spine. Sitting up nice and tall. And relax. All right, so again, we always start off with some of these exercises here, seated, because it kind of minimizes the amount of things we need to focus on. I don't have to worry about us standing on our feet and getting our legs involved or anything. We're just focusing on our posture of our pelvis in relation to our spine, and our spine in relation to our pelvis, what muscles are engaged, and how they're engaged. Let's go ahead and reconnect with that hollow. So we're going to be squeezing the glutes, squeezing the abdomen, and then from here with the palms of your hands, pushing down with the arms straight. Push down hard to the point where the sternum just faces forward. It's not lifting up. When you feel your shoulders roll back and down, you'll notice that the spine is starting to straighten up a little bit. But you're having to really work and squeeze the abdominal muscles to keep the chest from rising. Otherwise, I would just be lifting the chest up. But because my stomach's engaged, the stomach muscles are engaged, it's not happening. And breathing. Go ahead and relax. Shake it out a little bit if you need to. Again, squeeze the glutes, abdomen, the abdominal wall here. Pushing down with our hands. The shoulders roll back and down. The chest is level. The spine is straight. And now, making sure you're still breathing, not holding your breath, always breathing, never holding our breath. Now we're going to slowly tilt back in our chairs, keeping those stomach muscles engaged. And let the hands slowly slide to the thigh as we let the weight shift from our feet to our hips. And just before the weight completely leaves our feet, to the point where you feel like your feet are going to come up off the ground, stop before that point and hold. Make sure your back isn't arched. If you have to, you have a mirror near you, glance at the mirror. Your back is definitely arched if your chest is looking up like that. Chest should be down a little bit. You should really feel your stomach having to work right now. Keep holding, keep breathing. Very good. Keep breathing. And come back up. Good job. Don't let go. Keep breathing. Don't let go. We're going to come back again, okay? Still holding those contractions. Still squeezing them. Still squeezing the abdomen. I'm still, even as I lean back, I'm still pushing down. The palms of my hands. And I'm going to pause just before I get to the point where I feel like all the weight is going to shift off my feet. Breathing, coming back up. Continue to hold. Don't let go. Don't let go of the contractions. Try to hold the contractions here, okay? Keep breathing. Keep fighting. Come back. Letting those hands come back. Pause. Just before the weight lifts off the feet. Doing good. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Come back up. And relax. Good job. Woo. All right, let's go ahead and stand up here. I've actually got a nice little surprise today. Over my little vacation, I highly recommend reading a book whose name is it's a little over the top, but it's by an author named Lulu Sweeger. And she wrote a book on the body movement and our movement potential, and she has these little drawings in this book that are so beautiful, and they help you picture your body in terms of different concepts so you can understand the function of it. And during that, I was gathering some notes, and I came up with there's a little challenge during some of my during my schooling that I came up with, and it was got the 9 lines of movement, and it's referring to our posture here. So if you'll excuse me while I kind of use my phone to guide me here, because I took a picture of it, of my old notes here. I'm going to tell you 9 different commands, and I want everybody to start standing. And as I go through the commands, I'm going to go through them slowly, and I'm going to repeat them. I'm going to go through one command, then I'll go through the second, and I'll reiterate the first again before I go into the third. All the way up till we get to 9 different things that we're all going to be trying to do all at once, and I'll slowly build to it. So the first thing is standing with your feet shoulder width apart. I want you to think about number 1, lengthen the spine downward. Imagine your spine and push it down. Number 2, shorten the distance between the front of your pelvis and your 12th thoracic vertebrae. So that's just before your lumbar spine. So you can take that as the bottom of your rib cage. So if you want to palpate your ribs, where they stop, the last ribs on your side. So from right here, so try to shorten the distance there. Another way of saying that is, i.e. something we always do is contract the abdomen. So 1, lengthen the spine downward. Shorten the distance between the mid front pelvis and the 12th vertebrae, i.e. contracting the stomach muscles. 3rd, remember we're going to hold all of these cues here. Pushing downward with my spine to lengthen it, contracting the abdomen to shorten the distance between my mid-front pelvis and my 12th thoracic vertebrae. Number 3, from top of the sternum to top of the spine. So you want to think about pulling the sternum up to the top of the spine, which would be at the base of your skull. So it's almost like someone's pushing your sternum up and back. Remember, I'm still, number 1, lengthen the spine downwards. 2, shorten the distance between the mid-front part of our pelvis and our 12th thoracic vertebrae. 3, I'm pushing from the top of my sternum up to the top of my spine. You should feel your spine is lengthening down and then lengthening up, and we're kind of stretching out. Much different than just telling someone to stand tall. Make sure you're breathing. Now, think about narrowing the rib cage, squeezing in. So I'm lengthening down, decreasing the distance between mid, front pelvis, my 12th thoracic vertebrae. That's that 2nd command. The 3rd command is to push that sternum up into the top of my spine. And number 4 is to narrow my rib cage. Number 5, I want you to widen the back of your pelvis. So just think about spreading out the back. Number 6, narrow the front of the pelvis. So you should feel the inner parts of your thighs trying to squeeze, the inner front part of your thighs trying to squeeze, while the outer back parts of your legs are trying to spread out. Number 7, from the center of your knee align that just below the center of the hip joint. So basically our knees are on just below the hips. Number 8, we're almost there. Keep breathing. Remember, lengthen the spine downward. That's 1. Number 2, shorten the distance by contracting the abdomen. Number 3, push the sternum up to the top of the spine. Number 4, narrow your rib cage. Number 5, widen the back of your pelvis. Number 6, narrow the front of your pelvis. Make sure your knees are directly underneath the hip joints. Number 8, make sure your big toe, from your big toe to heel, lengthen the central axis of your trunk upward, pushing through the big toe through the heel. That's a lot. That's a lot of commands, right? Go ahead and relax. Now everybody just go ahead and stand with your feet shoulder width apart. I know that was a lot. And just stand still. Close your eyes and breathe. Breathe in deeply and see how you feel now. Just notice where you feel tension in your body. Do you feel tension in your toes? Are your toes curled? Are you putting weight in only one big toe of one of your feet? Or are you evenly distributing weight through both feet? Do you have weight in the heels? Is your back tight? How does tension feel in your shoulders? Take a deep breath. Exhale. Shake it out a little bit. Okay. Now, standing up, let's go through some hollows and arches. First, without any equipment. If you're seated, you'll just have your hands in front of you, and when we come down to the knee, your hands just kind of scoot up. Feet are shoulder width apart. Hands on top of the thigh. Squeeze the glutes a little bit. Notice that when you squeeze the glutes, the back part of your pelvis kind of narrows, and the front part of your pelvis kind of widens. That's another way of being able to say that our femur is externally rotating a little bit, just a little bit, and our pelvis is posteriorly tilting. Contract the abdomen, hands on top of the front part of your thighs. I want you to start reaching down very, very slowly. Now don't lean forward. Just slowly bring that sternum down closer and closer towards your pelvis as you reach, and slowly slide your hands towards your knees. Remember, I'm not leaning forward, so weight should still be in my heels. I should continue to squeeze the glutes. And you're using the abdomen to pull yourself down, or to pull that sternum down towards your pelvis. Now, very slowly, we're going to start to come up. Very, very slowly, starting with the upper body. Still squeezing the abdomen a little bit, and just a little bit less as we start to straighten up more and more. And once you feel like your shoulders are no longer rising, then think about squeezing your hands, the palms of your hands, into the front of your thighs. Okay? Relax the stomach muscles, relax the glutes. Squeezing with your hands into the front of the thighs. And now really arch that spine. Your shoulders should be drawn back and down. Your chest should be lifted up towards the sky, or angled upwards. Now as you're continuing to push with your palms of your hands into the front of your thigh, slowly start to move your hands towards the sides of your legs, like you're going back towards your pockets. And now, past, if you can, past the hip, as long as it doesn't bother your shoulders. You should really feel the upper arms tense, the shoulders and the back muscles tense. Now I want us to stay in this position as best you can. Make sure you have weight in your heels. I want you to slightly bend your knees. Still arched, still arched. My pelvis is definitely tilted forward. Now we're going to hinge at the hip, okay? Very slow. Hinge at the hip. My knees aren't going to bend, although they are slightly bent. They're not moving as I just hinge forward at the hip, the crease of my hip. And I should feel my hamstrings stretching. Still keep those arms extended back and stop, keeping your head above the level of your heart. Coming back up. You should feel those hamstrings. We're going to do that one more time, okay? Keep breathing throughout. Reaching back with those hands. We're going forward, keeping our head above the level of our heart. We're going to slowly make our way back up. You should feel those hamstrings. And relax. Shake it out. Woo. So those are some very accentuated posture positions here. Now, let's grab our PVC. Let's give our legs a rest for a second here. Yeah, you can do this standing. You can do this seated. We're gonna bring the PVC close to our collarbone. Out in front, it should be touching. If you have the mobility and the flexibility to be able to get this behind your shoulders, not behind your neck, it's at the top of my shoulders at the back side. Notice that if this pole is on the back of your neck and you are shrugged like this, you might want to take it out in front for the time being. Trust me, it's not going to make this any more or less easier for you to do, and you'll get that much more out of the exercises here. But in either case, if you do have it out in front, keep the PVC in contact with your collarbone. Keep your forearms at a very minimum vertical. So your elbows should be trying to point down towards the floor. If they're still back here and you're just trying to point them forward, it's okay. It's okay. It's all about progress. It's not about where you start. It's about the progress you make. Okay? Those of you who can, join me back here. What we're going to do, we're just going to kind of loosen up our rib cage a little bit, okay? So I want you to squeeze your glutes. Squeeze the abdomen a little bit. Like, don't completely hollow, but kind of squeeze the abdomen a little. So that way the sternum doesn't move up on us. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to rotate just a little bit towards the left. Holding. Dip down towards the left, tilting, sorry, I didn't mean to say dip, tilt strictly towards the left. So you see that left elbow comes down. Now rotate that left arm forward as far as you can. Now tilt all the way down towards the right. Now, rotate forward, keeping that right elbow down. As you rotate forward and then rotate continuing towards the left now. And now, tilt all the way down towards the left. Rotate forward, and now keep rotating. Now we're rotating towards the right. Level yourself up. Rotate forward and relax. Bring those arms out. Shake it out if you need to. Woo-hoo. I know, right? Okay. Yeah. Woo. Going back in position. We're going to reverse that because basically what we did was a figure 8. But now we got to do the other direction. So, back in position. Rotate towards the right. Sorry. Contract the glutes, contract the abdomen. Now rotate towards the right. Tilt down towards the right, holding. Now keeping yourself tilted down to the right, or keeping your right elbow down towards the right hip, we're going to rotate our torso forward, and then keep rotating it to the left, so you can't rotate anymore. Now we're going to tilt all the way down towards the left. Push that forward, rotating that. Then tilting down towards the right. Pushing that forward and towards the left. Down. Forward. Tilt. Down towards the right. Rotate all the way forward. Last time. Now level out. Rotate forward. And relax. Very good. Woo. So yeah, we're doing this here. We're keeping our glutes squeezed to kind of fix our pelvis in position and trying to provide a little bit more connection from our lumbar spine to our pelvis by engaging those abdominal muscles as we focus on movement in our thoracic spine, the rib cage area here, okay? It's important for being able to keep our lower back in better positions when we have more mobility up top. Okay, back up again. Feet are going to be in a split position, okay? So we're going to get in a little split stance here. So one foot's forward, one foot's back. If you want, you can have your back heel on the ground, or you can have it up off the floor. In either case, both knees are slightly bent, unless you have the back heel down, you're more likely to have that back leg straight. But ideally, both knees are bent. Make sure that you don't tightrope it. We want some space in between the feet on a width dimension. Okay, now, from here, making sure that that front knee is just behind the ankle or just on top of the ankle, the front heel. Squeeze both glutes. You might notice that the glute of the back leg was kind of already squeezed a little bit. That's because the leg is already extended. And the front one might feel a little difficult to squeeze, but squeeze it all the same. Squeeze the abdomen a little, just to keep our chest from lifting up. And very slowly, as we continue to breathe, we're going to push both elbows forward. And hold. And breathing. And we're now holding our breath. Just keeping those elbows forward. Relax the elbows, stay in position. Push the right elbow forward. Now rotate towards the left, just your torso. You'll notice that back leg is really having to work right now. All right, coming back forward, relax. Push the left elbow forward, hold. Breathe. Keep both glutes squeezed. Rotate now towards the right. Still keep your glutes squeezed. Rotate forward. Relax the elbow and recover. Woo, shake it out. Do a lap around your chair if you need to. Whatever you think is best for you. Man, I can really feel that. I'm gonna have to do a couple stretches here. Alrighty, now, let's switch sides. Opposite foot. So it doesn't matter which foot you started with, to be honest with you. We're doing the same thing for both sides. Just remember, when we set up, we want to have width in between. So before you set up, get your PVC set. Then take your split. Both knees are bent. Front knee is just behind, if not just on top of the heel of the front foot. Squeezing both glutes, squeezing the abdomen. Make sure you're balanced. Have a chair nearby if you need to. If you're sitting on the chair, you just have to put one foot back onto the chair, and one foot's out in front of you, and you can do the same thing that we're doing here, okay? Just like this. One foot's back, one foot's forward, just like that. Where was I? All right, have the foot forward. Good. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the abdomen, push both elbows forward. And relax the elbows, stay in position. Make an adjustment if you need to. Now, push that right elbow forward. Rotate towards the left. Breathing. Come back. Relax that elbow. Push the left elbow forward. Rotate towards the right. Staying within your range of motion, breathing. Coming back forward, relax the elbow and recover both feet and relax. Woo! It's not that it doesn't get easier, it's just it's still always pretty challenging. All right, go ahead and toss your PVC and grab your strap. Now, with our strap, we're just going to continue to try to work our back out a little bit here. So this one, if your balance is really bad, definitely stay next to your chair. Or just take a seat and be on the edge of your seat here. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the strap under one foot in the arch. Now, it's very important that you utilize the little notches that the yoga band has because it'll make it so much easier for your grip. But you just want to make sure you don't have any slack, or at least if you do have a little slack, it's like very minimal. But the band shouldn't be overly tight. Okay, and then you're going to push. So I started here, and then I'm going to kind of push forward a little bit so that I trap that band here. Okay, your other foot is back. Make sure everybody can see me. And just make sure that your hands are even. Because if you had this going on here from the get-go, well, that's not good. Okay? Now, from here, I'm going to try to straighten out my back. Okay? Keep my abdomen nice and tight so that way my chest doesn't lift up too high. Make sure both my hands have an even amount of slack or an even amount of strap on each side. Strap should be in the arch of your foot. And from here, your arms should be straight, and you should be able to keep your arms straight as you just squeeze your shoulder blades back. Okay? Now it's okay if your elbows are slightly bent, but ideally your arms are straight. And you're really squeezing with those shoulder blades back and down. Okay, you should really start to feel the leg that's forward, that hamstring working here. You feel the quad of that leg working here. What I want you to do is when you're in this position is make sure that as you pull and squeeze with your shoulder blades, that you'll feel a greater pressure in your foot, that it's evenly distributed between the big toe, the ball of your foot, and the heel. That it's not all towards the front, it's not all towards the back, it's evenly spread out. Go ahead and relax for a second. Woo! And for those of you who are pulling hard enough, you might even notice your glute muscles working there. That's a good one to kind of kick that up. Light that muscle up there. Let's switch. Other foot comes forward. Opposite foot comes back. Get situated. I'm having difficulty today. All right, now I'm in position. Remember, my knee is just on top of my ankle or slightly behind. Now I'm going to squeeze the abdomen a little bit here. You can squeeze your glutes too. You already got into the habit of it. That's good. Keep it going. Keeping your arms straight, you're going to pull the shoulders back. Now, as you do this, it's going to want to make you're going to want to arch, but we're not going to. Why? Because we're working that abdomen. That's right. And instead of your back arching, you should notice your leg is having to work harder. Stay in position because you're pushing away from the foot because your shoulder squeezing back like this is trying to pull you forward, but you're not going to pull yourself forward because you're keeping your arms straight. Just pulling the shoulders back. But you're not going to arch your back because you're keeping that's right, the abdomen engaged. So what gives is your foot has to press harder to keep yourself in position here. Now, as you push hard with that foot, make sure again you're pushing evenly throughout the 3 points of the foot here. The ball of your foot, the big toe, and your heel. Or you can just even think of your ankle as a whole. You should feel those hamstrings lining up, glute muscle, keep squeezing, and relax. Go ahead and recover. Shake it out a little bit here. You can get rid of your band. All right, this one's a rough one. That one's not a fun one. That one is solely about effort. You're not going to get a lot out of that if you aren't able to get to a good position so you can pull hard. But if you can pull hard and you pull hard on it, you're going to get a lot out of it. Now, let's activate the upper body a little bit here more, but with our hollows. So, at the back of your chair, or if you're seated already, maybe someone would be so kind as to bring a chair to you, and you can face the back of another chair while you're seated. Okay, you're spoiled. You have two chairs here, and you can join us like this here, okay? If you don't have all that, then you can simply place the wrists or the base of the palm of your hand on your knees. Those of us who are standing, the base of the palm of our hand is on top of this chair, and I'm going to bring my feet back just a little bit here, so I'm tabletop a little. Okay? Pretty good. Now, Keeping my wrist flexed down on top of this chair. I want to make sure my knees are slightly bent, but my hips are up. My head's above the level of my heart. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze my glutes a little bit here. You might actually feel squeezing your glutes in this position be very difficult. It's because your glutes are stretched out. It's like trying to contract your bicep when your arm is fully extended. I'm squeezing my glutes a little bit. I'm going to squeeze the abdomen. Now I'm going to start to arch my back. I'm going to start to hollow my spine. You'll notice your back is going to round. And as it starts to round, I want you to try to push with the palms of your hands into the top of the back of that chair. You should really notice a lot of tension throughout the lats. Well, now what I want you to do is, while you're doing this, I want you to kick your elbows out to the side. So turn your elbows out. Yeah. Turn the elbows out. Pushing through the palm of your hand. Breathe and hold these contractions. Really feel your armpits having to stretch a little bit there. And we're going to relax and come up. Shake it out. Not bad. Now we're going to do something a little different with the spine, but similar with the arms. Back in that same position, down, walk the feet back. Now this time I want you to arch your back, and with your thumbs kind of pointing in and upwards a little bit, trying to turn those hands, almost give a thumbs up almost, pushing with the bottom part, that bottom part of the hand, pushing that down into the chair. This will draw your shoulders back and down. Really arch it. You should really feel that those back muscles working. And relax. Good job. Shake it out. Standing up nice and tall. Let's squeeze our glutes. Squeeze the abdomen. Bring our hands to the front of our thighs as we squeeze hard to pull those shoulders down and to straighten up the spine. But to not let that chest come up. Take a deep breath as you lift your chin to face forward. Push your chin back into your neck a little. Really draw those shoulder blades back. Relax the chin. Relax your arms. Relax your glutes. Relax the abdomen. Standing up nice and tall through your heels. And good job, everybody. Well done. Thank you again for coming back, tuning in. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I will see you all next time. Enjoy the rest of your week.